The railroading of General Michael Flynn continues as an appeals court deals a setback to Flynn's attempt to end the DOJ case against him, that the DOJ has already ended, mind you. So this is from Politico, and I've been following the Michael Flynn case because he has been absolutely railroaded in the legal process, and this is just further proof among everything else that is going on in this country that the rule of law is absolutely breaking down here in America. And this is becoming one of the most egregious cases of partisanship that I have ever seen in my life. So we have here from Politico: a federal appeals court has dealt a setback to Michael Flynn, President Donald Trump's first national security advisor, ruling that a district court judge can proceed with a planned hearing on the Justice Department's attempt to abandon the criminal false statement case against Michael Flynn. Now, I don't necessarily know that I can go into all of the background on the Michael Flynn case because it is very, very complicated. You can go back to episode 6 of Revved Up, where I talk in detail about the Michael Flynn case. It is very, very involved, but needless to say, the FBI was withholding illegally exculpatory evidence that would have exonerated Michael Flynn, withholding it from his attorneys, while the FBI was threatening to go after his son. So in order to save his son, he went ahead and pleaded guilty to a charge of lying to the FBI. Now, this is also goes against what the FBI said. The FBI said that they did not think Michael Flynn was even lying to him. And we have Bill Priestap's notes, who was the boss and supervisor of Agent Peter Strzok, who, on his notes before interviewing Michael Flynn, asked whether the goal was to get him to incriminate himself or to get him fired. Since when has it been in the purview of the FBI to investigate somebody with the goal of getting them fired from their cabinet position? It was an absolute gross misuse of power that has been. We're going to see indictments coming down, I think, from John Durham. And a lot of the people that have been involved in this Flynn case are likely going to be indicted. Yet nonetheless, Judge Emmett Sullivan is continuing to hamstring Michael Flynn and hold him up in court. Why, you might ask? Well, Michael Flynn served as the DNI for Michael Flynn served as Obama's DNI from 2011 to 2014. So he knows where a lot of the bodies are buried in the Obama Clapper Comey Brennan intelligence swamp. And they're afraid he has a gag order on him right now. And they're afraid that if this gets dropped and the gag order is released, Michael Flynn is going to be able to spill a lot of dirty details, not only about how he was railroaded in the courts, but also what he witnessed while he worked for the Obama administration for 3 years. In fact, Obama hated him so much that he told President Trump not to hire him. It was a very, very acrimonious fallout because Michael Flynn is a patriot and Obama is a traitor. So, let's go ahead and continue the story now that you've got a little bit of background on this. The D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals sitting en banc. That means that they took every judge from the Circuit Court of Appeals to hear this case. Voted 8-2 to reject Flynn's effort to dismiss the case immediately. The court's ruling Monday also rejected efforts by Flynn to remove District Judge Emmett Sullivan from the case over alleged bias. Now, Emmett Sullivan is an Obama appointee, and the thing about the en banc court is Michael Flynn initially won his appeals 3-1 with a 3-judge panel from the Washington, D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. But Judge Sullivan would not accept the panel's ruling and pushed and forced his way into an en banc ruling where he knew that he had a lot more Democrat-appointed judges, especially in the D.C. courts, where they are very activist judges. So, again, Emmett Sullivan has been railroading Michael Flynn on this, and it's hard to think anything else but that he has had marching orders directly from Obama to keep this hamstrung, to keep this strung up, to keep the gag order in place so that General Michael Flynn cannot talk before the election. It's almost transparent because there is virtually no other reason for this to be going down. There is no prosecutor on this case anymore. Nobody is prosecuting, and the judge is supposed to be an impartial judge between the defense and the prosecutors. Well, there is no prosecutor anymore. So there should be no case for the judge. This is highly irregular and highly, highly suspicious. So the court's ruling Monday. Okay, so the new decision effectively overturns a June ruling of a divided 3-panel judge who backed Flynn's attempt to force an end to the prosecution. Again, why is there a prosecution when there's nobody prosecuting? This makes zero sense whatsoever. You can tell that that Emmett Sullivan is acting in bad faith, and I guarantee you he's going to be sacrificed for this. The deep state is going to be sacrificing Emmett Sullivan, and Emmett Sullivan, I think, knows it. He's probably getting paid who knows how much money to fall on this grenade for them. The unsigned majority opinion rejected arguments from Flynn and the Justice Department that Sullivan gravely intruded on executive branch authority by allowing the planned hearing and inviting a presentation from a retired judge whom Sullivan appointed to argue against the government's motion to dismiss the case. What we essentially have here is the defense and the prosecution teaming up against the judge to get them to let the case go, and the judge will not let it go. Because we now have the exculpatory evidence that the FBI illegally withheld from Michael Flynn. We now know the details of the investigation into Flynn. We know about the meeting in the July, what was it, January 4th or 5th meeting in 2017, where they talked about going after Michael Flynn with the Logan Act. We know how dirty the case against Michael Flynn was. So you would think that given any kind of natural semblance of the due process, of the rule of law, this case would be dropped. But the fact that it hasn't, even despite all of the evidence of dirty dealings in the prosecution against him, that there has to be misdeeds afoot here. There has to be foul play involved in this. There is absolutely no other explanation. The only separation of powers question we must answer at this juncture is whether the appointment of an amicus and the scheduling of a briefing and argument is clearly indisputably impermissible, is a clearly indisputably impermissible intrusion upon executive authority. They're basically saying that this is almost like the Supreme Court ruling in Roe v. Wade, where it's the enumerations and the penumbra of the ethos and the spirit of privacy that is not actually listed. It is absolute hackery here. This is absolute judicial hackery on the part of the court, and they ruled almost entirely upon party lines by appointee. There was, and we'll get later to the one Republican appointee who actually, you know what, we don't even need to read this whole thing, because honestly, my throat, my voice is going out because of my, I haven't been feeling very well. So I'm not even going to get into all that. There was one judge here, and it shows at the bottom. We can see this at the bottom here. This was the only Republican-appointed judge to join the majority on Monday. George W. Bush appointee Thomas Griffith is retiring on Tuesday, so he's going to be retired by the time you read this. He lamented the fact that the ruling on Flynn's case would be seen as driven not by neutral principles, but by partisan affections. So he essentially ruled against Michael Flynn, not by any merit of the rule of law, but simply by the optics of it being split by party lines. That is an abortion of justice. That is not how our courts are supposed to rule. They are not supposed to be partial along party lines, and they are not supposed to be seeing public perception of bias like that. They are not supposed to rule because of what people are going to think. That is not how our court system works. That is not how our judiciary works, and that is not how the rule of law works. Especially from a guy who is 1 foot out the door. No doubt there will be some who will describe the court's decision today on such terms, but they would be mistaken, Griffith wrote in a concurring opinion. No doubt it will be described as partisan, but that would be a mistake. No, that is not a mistake whatsoever. Most of these people are Democrat appointed. They are part of the swamp. The judiciary is part of the swamp. We have judges that are absolute activists on the court that are just ruling in favor of the establishment. And that is what Thomas Griffith here is doing, and that is what all of the Democrats are doing. They are protecting Democrats because they know that if they let Michael Flynn go, it is going to blow back on Democrats, and it's going to blow back very, very viciously. And they're hoping for political expedience that will not happen before November 3rd. Griffith went on to say that it would be highly unusual if Sullivan rejected the government's motion, but that the judge... it would be highly unusual if Sullivan rejected the government's motion. Everything Sullivan has done to this point has been highly unusual. So to think that that is out of the realm of possibility and not even a probability is absolutely asinine, because we can tell that he has done everything in his power to keep Michael Flynn strung up in the judicial process, to keep the gag order on him. They are going to have hell to pay when this is all done. And it was, let's see, where was it? There was another part in here. It's almost like there's no reason for this to be happening, because at the end of the day, Sullivan can go and he can hear the court ruling on, he can go and he can hear the Justice Department on why they want to drop the case. He's still only going to have one option to dismiss the case, because there's not going to be any prosecutor. I think what they're actually hoping for is that Donald Trump loses the election, so they're going to keep the gag order on Michael Flynn through the election, and they're hoping that will help prevent Donald Trump from winning again. And then if Joe Biden wins, of course the prosecution against Michael Flynn is going to continue. That is what they're really looking for. They're looking for a new prosecutor under a new DOJ to come in and take the reins of this, because they are absolutely, there's a political assassination in the courts, which is an assassination of the rule of law. These people must be dealt with, and they must go to prison for this. There was no other option. So Powell decried on Monday, ruling that this is a disturbing blow to the rule of law. Exactly. There's just nothing. So yeah, you can see right here, the Justice Department backed Flynn's effort to force Sullivan to dismiss the case, emphasizing that even if Sullivan conducts a hearing and seeks input on his options, he'll have only one at the end of his search: dismissal. In the meantime, the Justice Department noted Sullivan may ask a series of probing questions about the internal process that the court is not entitled to seek. Of course, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're actually going to try to use this to dig into information against Bill Barr. They're going to try to get information about Bill Barr. They're going to try to get information about Donald Trump, and they are going to try to use this to assassinate the presidency, politically speaking, not in real life, not actual assassination. But this is fully partisan, and it is all part of their plan. It's going to fail, because we've seen everything that they do fails. They need to know this. They need to just let go and face the music. Sullivan never should have taken these marching orders from Obama and Obama operatives and said, no, I'm not going to do this. Although they probably have some sort of blackmail on him. For all we know, he was on Epstein's flight logs. That's not an accusation. I'm just saying. We know how these people work. They work on blackmail. That's how they control people. That's how they control, all of the people in all their minions. Their owned operatives. So Rao said in her dissent that she was convinced that Sullivan would do just that. Yeah, of course he is. Of course he's going to do just that. Why else is he trying to hold this up? This is not a good... This judge is very brazenly acting in bad faith. There's no way to say that he is acting in good faith here. Because at the end of the day, there is only one outcome. So long as they don't... So long as they don't have a new DOJ come in. And I think that is exactly what they're angling for. Rao, in her dissent, said she was convinced that he would do just that, and she described the case as a kind of zombie pursuit of Flynn that is senselessly grinding on with no one actually at the helm. Exactly. There is no prosecution. How do you have a criminal case with no prosecution? It does not make any sense. And the fact that he also tried to overrule the first panel, did not accept their ruling, and sent it to an en banc. What is his skin in this game? What is his skin in this? It has to be something. It has to be something. He wouldn't do this if he was just an impartial player in this case, which is what a judge is supposed to be, defined by law. They're supposed to be impartial. This is anything but impartial. So this is just going to continue, and it's going to continue to drain Michael Flynn's resources. He's an army guy. He's not a fucking multimillionaire. I think he's already had to sell his house because of all this. He is going to have a serious case against all of the people who have politically assassinated him and ruined his life. And I just can't believe that through it all, Michael Flynn has stood strong. He's remained a patriot. He has just stood there and taken the arrows. I mean, Michael Flynn is one of the most admirable and honorable men we have ever seen in the political sphere in this country. I think he has future president written all over him. In fact, he might be the perfect follow-up to Donald Trump. He really might be. I honestly don't know enough. I mean, I'd have to see more of his policy proposals and that kind of thing. But from everything that I've seen from Michael Flynn, we know that he is a devout patriot and that he believes in this country, he believes in the founding, and he has always done what is right. And I think we're going to need that. So Michael Flynn might be a very, very good option to follow up Donald Trump on the 2024 ticket. In fact, I would have loved. I like Mike Pence. I have nothing against Mike Pence. He's kind of boring. I don't think there's been any grounds to replace Mike Pence, but I certainly would not have been upset to see Mike Pence replaced with Mike Flynn as the VP on this ticket. Of course, I don't think they would have been able to do that with him embroiled in this case here. So, anyways, guys, I just want to, I'm going to cover anything Michael Flynn that comes out. He's a true American hero. He's a true patriot. And this is really disgusting what's being done to him. So, anyways, guys, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Ram Thorburn. And if you would like to contribute to the channel, which would be greatly, greatly appreciated, there are links to my Subscribestar, Patreon, and PayPal down in the description below. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.